Hello everyone. Beard is back, and today we're going to cover what Junior has to say. Pretend to be a Muslim for one day, go to a mosque, sit with Muslims, feel their peace, hear their prayers, buy some halal food, read a few pages of the Quran, and just let your heart breathe. How can you know that the Islamic path isn't for you if you've never even tasted it? I actually agree with some of this, but really all you have to do is read the news and read a few pages of the Quran. If you just do this, this last sentence here, you'll know why it's not for you, but you don't even have to go that far, because leftists are still acting like this National Guard shooter isn't fucking Islamic. They're saying, hey, breaking news, images of the suspect in National Guard shootings doesn't appear to be black, trans, or an immigrant. How will MAGA spin this? He's got the chin strap beard. He's got the slightly tanned skin. He's got the haircut that all the Muslims have. Like, he's obese. Therefore, he doesn't appear to be an immigrant, because no one in the Middle East is fat. No one in the Middle East is fat. Yeah, this is a fucking Muslim terrorist. The suspect is confirmed to be Afghan national, which makes him an immigrant, by the way. They already confirmed he was Arab. Sure. Yeah, right. Look at him, he's fat. Obviously, he's not from the Middle East. They will say he's radically left or dim. Yep, of course they will. Eye roll. Eye roll. Look at that. Actually saw some lunkheads insisting it was an Arab-looking guy. Ridiculous. Sadly, the person is in the custody of an all-spin zone. So at least, at the end of the day, he'll be what they want him to be. Are you blind, dude? He has the fucking Arab chin strap. He has the Arab skin color. He has the Arab fucking haircut. Sorry. And yeah, he was an immigrant, turns out. So we're going to be reading a lot about this. So the two West Virginia National Guards members who were critically wounded on Wednesday are dead, by the way. A targeted shooting blocks from the White House a suspect, 29-year-old Afghan national Ramanullah Lonkanwal, I don't care if I said that wrong, he doesn't deserve my respect, who entered the U.S. in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome. No one in the Middle East is our ally. I don't care. The closest thing we have is Israel. Frankly, all the other countries don't deserve to exist. I am a Zionist, however, I am anti the rest of every other country in the Middle East. I think if Israel wasn't there, nuclear war would be the only solution. That's the only thing holding me back from just nuking the place, because I do think that, the land that Israel is on is special in some way. But, yeah, I don't really care. At the end of the day, America first. If it means the destruction of Israel, America has to survive. Allies Welcome was wounded and arrested after firing a handgun the FBI investigates as possible terrorism. Possible terrorism? This is an Afghani who came into the country, stayed for 4 years, and killed 2 National Guards members. How many other crimes does he have under his belt? Probably 50? 70? How many crimes has this guy committed and just let go? There were National Guards praying outside of one of the hospitals that the National Guard was at, probably while they were still alive. Just in, one of the National Guard soldiers shot in today's attack was identified as Andrew Wolf of Inwood, West Virginia. Wolf is still believed to be in critical condition. He's not in critical condition anymore. He's dead. They killed him. These left-wing fucks are defending this murderer that killed this man. He had a family, dude. Why do we respect the left anymore? Why does anyone? You think, oh, well, they have opinions and they're entitled just like the rest of us. No, they're not. They are not entitled to their opinion. No, not anymore. Breaking news, Stephen Miller confirms that even asylum seekers and refugees are now fair game for deportation after today's shooting. Enough already. No one else has to die because of what Democrats have done to the country. Trump will accelerate efforts to review all the Afghanis, claims. Yeah, damn straight. That's not enough, though. That's not enough. We need more. And I'll show you later what I mean by that. Trump actually did come out, and he had this 5-minute speech, so we're going to listen to the whole thing.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House.
How does that happen? How do you let people get point-blank range within your area? Not only just like anyone, but like a non-citizen of the United States of America. How do they get that close? How do they get that close to the White House during a time like this where National Guards are present? How, dude? This is a joke. A really horrible joke.
They'd been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type.
I'm so glad that we've achieved this reduction. However, we could go 80 to 90 times harder.
This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity.
I'm glad at least he has the balls to come out here and say it was an act of terror, okay? Because this was a terrorist, okay? He came into the country for 4 years. He probably did plenty of shit in that time, but now he's killed 2 National Guards members, okay? This is a terrorist. I don't care.
The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families.
Yeah, please pray for their families. Because these people they're sick. And you know the Muslims are praying for their death. All the ICE people. The Muslims hate you, okay? The Muslims want America to fall. And if you do not believe their religion, they want you beheaded.
The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth.
I actually can't believe it. I literally can't believe this. We're just letting people into our country, dude. Just willy-nilly. We had been for years. And I'm a racist. I'm a fascist because I believe that that's probably a bad idea. I believe it's probably a good idea to get the people we've been letting in out.
He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about.
So this is actually a really contended point already. He said it was the Biden administration. A lot of the leftists are saying it was him in 2021 who did it. He says it's not him, but it was Biden. He says it was in 2021. He has a quote in August saying that it's a mistake to let these Afghanistan nationals in. So, like, in August of 2021, he's literally saying this is a bad idea. And then in September, this guy comes in. So, yeah, I would say probably not Donald Trump's fault here. Realistically, I think Trump has done plenty of bad things with the immigration thing. The fact that he's opening up H-1Bs or something more severe than that or whatever, I don't care. I don't think we should have any immigrants until we get all of the ones that are here illegally out. And then we have a strong enough border that no one we don't want to come in can. No more immigrants. I don't care. Not a single one. Not one immigrant until we get all the illegal ones out.
Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians.
The Somali crisis is so weird, dude. They're literally pretending to have autism because the average IQ in Somalia is like 69. Not even a joke. I'm pretty sure it's 69 or 68. I know it's lower than 70. They're actually retarded. Like, literally. Like, on average, the average Somali is retarded. And we're sitting here, oh, well, they have autism. They don't have autism. They're retarded. And they're not legally here. Get them out. We don't need to be taking immigrants from a place with an average IQ of 60, even 70, even 80. We don't need to be taking any immigrants from an area that has an average IQ of 80. None, not one. Because they can't do anything for us. All they can do is take. They can't help us. If your country has an average IQ of 80, you cannot come here. You don't get to. Not unless you prove that you're an outlier and like you have 100 plus IQ. We shouldn't let anyone in an average country without an IQ of above 120 into our country, okay? Like, America is for the greats, okay? If you were born here and you've lived here since the beginning, I don't care if you have an average IQ of 20. However, we're not going to let these idiots into our country. We're not going to. We can't.
Are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water.
They're too dumb to have a government. They can't.
No military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
Even that's not enough. Because this happened as an anti-ICE protest, okay? So we need to take advantage of that. Like, these National Guards were killed because it's an anti-ICE protest. I'm telling you.
If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror.
Basic ass take. There's... Okay, I'm gonna get real. Look, if any president said anything other than this, I would consider them a foreign entity and a terrorist, okay? Any president said anything other than this in this situation, they are a foreign entity and a terrorist. This is the bare minimum. Bare minimum right here. Saying, oh, well, they're killing our National Guard. We're going to have to look over all the people and see if they really love America. Bare minimum. And he's going to get called a fascist for this. I guarantee it. Because he always is. Everything he does is fascism because he's a fascist, right? I'm a fascist too, apparently. Oh, no. I don't care anymore. Shoot me. Do it. I don't care. Why should I care? You're gonna kill me anyway because I believe in basic shit. Kill me! Praise God that I haven't been killed yet, because I can still come out here and get my 3 views on YouTube because, whatever. I don't care. I don't care, dude. This is evil. We're living in unprecedented times, okay? This doesn't happen without some kind of inner collusion with these foreign terroristic governments. This doesn't happen. This is evil.
And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year,
bare minimum,
when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the 2 great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones, please.
We do need prayer. This country needs prayer. Whatever happened to those songs like, God bless America, land that I love? No one sings anymore, dude. No one praises God and country anymore, dude. We live in unprecedented times. Please pray to God that this time that we're in ends, because we can't live like this. We literally can't live like this. The white population used to be like something like 36% in 1900, like the year 1900. Now it's like 7 across the world. Okay? And we're inviting all these people into our countries. So look at this. Look at it. Okay, there's genocide on whites, first of all. Obviously. If 34% became 7% of any other race, you would be like, that's a genocide. Only 125 years, too. That is a genocide. I don't care. That is what this is. We're literally killing ourselves off by letting these people into our country. And you see all these black people killing white people for no other reason than being in front of them on a train or being a woman that's alone. Like, these women who support Black Lives Matter being killed off by black people is the symptom. That's the symptom of what's happening in this country. That's what's happening. It's so obvious. I hate, and I hate. But I'm commanded to love by Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the God of the universe, okay? So, please pray for this country. I
say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you, and good night.
Plenty more news. A lot of people are covering him speaking. MAGA is stunned into silence as officials confirm the National Guard shooter Ramanullah Lakanwal, I don't care if I said his name wrong, he doesn't deserve my respect, entered the U.S. in 2021 and was vetted and granted legal asylum by the Trump administration in April 2025. I don't really see how that works out because it was in April 2025 and the fact that he was in the country in 2021... I don't know how that works out, honestly. I would say if this is true, then, Trump has been far too lenient. I would say he already has been far too lenient. And instead, we just need to get rid of every single asylum seeker, all of them from the Middle East. We don't need them. How did they get here? Like, where did they come from to get here? They didn't come from Somalia to get to America. There's too much land mass in between here and there for them to get here. I don't believe it. Okay? Like, they could have gone anywhere else. Effective immediately processing of all immigration requests related to Afghan nationals is stopped indefinitely pending further review of security and venting protocols. Good. Don't let any more of them in. Stephen Miller says admin will accelerate review of Biden's bad man, 20 million illegals. If you're illegal, you're out automatically, but everyone else who is brought here, refugee, asylum, whatever, if you add no benefit to the country, we're going to send you out. Bare minimum. Bare minimum. I can't express this enough. This is the bare minimum. The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen with both being critically wounded and now 2 in separate hospitals, now dead, by the way, is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. He better die. He better die. Slowly. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. The only reason why you shouldn't kill this guy slowly... the only reason why you shouldn't kill this guy slowly is so you can strap him to a giant bomb and drop him back on Afghanistan. Drop him out of a fucking plane on a giant bomb and send a message. Say, hey, not only you will die if you come over here and commit a crime against our nation, but also many of your countrymen. At random. Yeah, see how many times they come over here and kill our people again. Send a message. We can't have this. He was one of the many unvetted, mass paroled into the United States under Operation Allies Welcome on September 8th, 2021, under the Biden administration. I will not utter this depraved individual's name. He doesn't deserve your respect anyway. He should be starved of the glory he so desperately wants. These men and women of the National Guard are mothers, fathers, sisters, daughters, children of God, carrying out the same basic public safety and immigration laws that enshrined in the law for decades. The politicians and media who continue will vilify our men and women in uniform and need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Christy Noem, you are so right. Okay.
These aren't the interpreters that we taught. These were people that rushed into the planes, and they were so interested in trying to make it sound like, oh, they're doing a good job. These people, many of these people are going to be terrorists, okay? They're going to be terrorists. They were very powerful. They were very energetic in getting onto the aircraft.
They say they're vetting them very carefully with biometrics and documentation.
They're not doing that, and you can't, because there is no documentation in that country now, and nobody knows who.
Yeah, there is no documentation in that country. This is in August of 2021. This is the month before this guy got in. Okay? So, like, if Trump was the president of the United States at the time, this wouldn't have happened. Okay? Trump is the bare minimum. Biden was a terrorist. Biden wasn't even there, but whoever was a terrorist. Holy crap, there are shockwaves being seen through American night as Trump made the speech. The crimes of the Biden administration are not going to be forgotten. It is time to arrest Alejandro Mayorkas. I don't know who that is. Probably agree with you, though, honestly, just realistically. Bill Kristol said, almost every Afghan refugee will turn out to be so much better an American than Charlie Kirk. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Charlie Kirk, the man who was shot and killed for freedom of speech, versus the guy who killed two United States National Guard. Can you imagine that? Okay, who is this guy? Director of Defending Democracy Together. Okay, Defending Democracy Together. I'm gonna label this as a terrorist organization. I don't care. That's all I need to know. Literally all I need to know.
1,000 Afghan refugees. President Joe Biden's Department of Defense will accept 30,000 Afghan refugees into military installations following the collapse of Kabul. Boom. Political transformation.
Political genocide. You're literally suiciding yourself, dude.
Let the country crumble. Do you know there's 5 million displaced people in Afghanistan now? This was all intentional. Joe Biden let it fall apart to now say, oh, I'm so sorry. I guarantee you Joe Biden's speech this afternoon will talk about refugee assistance and relocation support. Now, Joe Biden's going to be scrambling to make good on it, and the liberal media will love it. They'll say, oh, yes, okay, now I get it. Joe Biden is now fixing his own problem. Joe Biden is stepping up, and he's allowing a flow of people from the Middle East into America. Thank you, Joe Biden. You're such a hero. You're so benevolent. You're so respectful. You're so compassionate. Do you see what's going on here? What's going on here is Joe Biden wants a couple 100,000 more Elon Omars to come into America to change the body politic permanently. We're playing checkers, and they're playing chess.
Yeah, we need to start actually playing chess. Yeah, because chess is a better game in general. Yeah, but just listen to this stuff.
As well, but there are, of course, concerns among lawmakers, experts who've tracked this. They're saying previous arrivals of large numbers of refugees from different parts of the world, inevitably there may be a small handful who are eventually deemed a security risk of some kind.
What does Chucky the doll of the Biden administration have to say about the possible risks of immigration? What does she have to say?
Reassurances can you make about the screening process and the attempts to make sure that somebody like that doesn't make his or her way here?
I can absolutely assure you that no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process. And there are many individuals, as you noted, who have not been through that process, and they have gone to lily pad countries as that process has been completed. It doesn't mean that that's because there's a flag. It means they have not completed their paperwork, and we were working to save tens of thousands of people, hence we evacuated them to these third countries.
And then
Right. There couldn't have possibly have been a flag for the guy who killed two National Guard officers. Right. Couldn't have possibly been a flag for that guy. Yeah, this is still from 2021. Almost every Afghan refugee will turn out to be so much better an American than Charlie Kirk. Actual retards. The National Guard shooter has been identified as Ram Manullah Lakanwal. I don't care if I said his name wrong. He doesn't deserve my respect. An Afghan illegal who entered the United States under the Biden administration in 2021 and reportedly yelled Allahu Akbar during the attack. Can you believe it? Yeah, God be great. And then he kills two people who are serving under the greatest nation in the world. Crazy. This is quite literally one of the worst possible events in all of United States history. This is him on his way to address the nation. Like this is aura right here. Hassan made a post recently about him having aura. No, this is aura. I can literally see like the flames of the Saiyan transformation coming out of Donald Trump here. This guy is like looking at him like, oh crap, he's serious. Like this is serious, dude. Obviously, I don't think he's going hard enough. I don't think that Trump is going hard enough. Yeah, I'll say it. Senator Mark Kelly, you're a piece of crap. Especially all of you Democrats are. Especially you ones that served in the military that have painted a big bullseye on the backs of our National Guards members. Yeah, I agree with that. A National Guard soldier armed with just a pocket knife put his all on the life and charged the armed Afghani terrorist and stabbed him. Absolute American hero. He may be awarded the highest possible military decorations. Yes. By the way, this actually does, Johnny Maga brings a really good point that I wanted to address. And that's that, this is one of the ICE protests here.
So stunning, so brave. This man is an anti-ICE protester, but now...
See, he throws that at him. You can see the smoke going off. Well, what is the smoke going off? I wonder.
Becomes a freaking...
Like, these guys just shot him 4 times, and he's literally just walking away. Why? How? Oh, yeah. These ICE officers, okay, these ICE officers, they have fake guns. Why? Why do they have fake guns? Look, he's just able to walk off. And guess who stops him? Random guy! Random guy stops him. The random guy is more capable of stopping the criminals than the fucking ICE officers.
Instantly like a
And then
cup
they
of
get
freaking noodles. Look, you have every right to protest. You have every right to be out there voicing your concerns. But when you start blocking roads, get violent, start burning shit down, this is the end result. You on the ground crying like a bitch for everyone to see, and now ending up on the fucking ludicrous cam.
Get out the way.
It took this random civilian. This pisses me off so much.
Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move, bitch.
So stunning.
That's where our country is right now. Where it's better just to like have random people defend our country than the actual ICE facility, because they're given fake guns. I know J.D. Vance and Kash Patel both talked about this, so I want to see what they have to say. Lots of people covering the Kash Patel thing. I want to talk about the J.D. Vance real quick. Here's 4 minutes of J.D. Vance.
I had a crazy idea. We were surprised that no one had done it before.
Shut up.
So we're going to go ahead and listen in as soon as he takes the podium, see if he, President Guardsmen, are parents. And there is one person in custody, once again, as you've heard. So just a little bit of a background, too, on this event. Obviously, this was all put into place before anything transpired in D.C. He's already set to speak for Thanksgiving on this topic. And let's go ahead and listen and see if he addresses the shooting now.
I want to say first, before we get started, on a somber note, we had, and some of you may have seen this on your phones or on social media, but apparently there was a shooting outside the White House just a couple of hours ago. And we're still learning everything. We still don't know the motive. There's a lot that we haven't yet figured out. But what we do know is that
the motive was he was an Afghanistan citizen who wanted to destroy America, by the way.
a couple of National Guardsmen were injured in the line of duty.
Were killed in the line of duty.
And first of all, I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those 2 National Guardsmen, that they're able to spend Thanksgiving with their families instead of...
They won't spend Thanksgiving with their families. They were taken by an Afghani, and it was celebrated by the left.
Losing their lives, because I understand they're still in pretty tough condition. But I think it's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America.
And we're giving them fake guns.
And as a person who goes into work every single day in that building and knows that there are a lot of people who wear the uniform of the United States Army, let me just say very personally, thank them for what they're doing. We're grateful to them, and we're praying that they're going to be safe and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with their families. God bless them.
Amen.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the business of the Army and about what you're doing and about why it's important to the United States of America and why we are proud of you, every single one of our soldiers here in Fort Campbell and all across the world. We have got some incredible guests here to honor this moment, to honor you, to say thanks to so many of you for spending time away from your families here this day before Thanksgiving. And I want to give just a few shout outs to some of our special guests before we get started. First of all, to General Travis McIntosh and Command Sergeant Major Charles Walker, thank you guys for leading this incredible facility, and thank you for serving in the United States Army and making us proud. Where are you guys? Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you all.
I feel like that's probably all he's going to cover when it comes to that, but, you know. Okay, what did Kash Patel have to say? Because I have mixed feelings on Kash Patel, so we can listen to him. Advertisement, skip!
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kash Patel, FBI Director. We're here to brief you on the tragic events that happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where two of our brave members of the National Guard and the Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force.
I'm not sure if he's a Jew, but, like, look at that thing. Look at that thing. That's crazy, isn't it? Like, I love the Jews, don't get me wrong, but what is this? What is this, dude? Like, on a woman, I could see liking it, honestly. Just because I like women. But, like, it's like a beak.
About the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be...
It's not an assault, it's a murder. But yeah, I guess at the time they weren't dead yet, so whatever. Bare minimum so far, bare minimum.
Treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer.
An assault, not a terrorist attack.
FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because this is a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice.
How about every single Afghani in the United States? How about every single Middle Eastern in the United States? How about that?
I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. I mean, for all the problems I have with him, that was at least the bare minimum. You know, it wasn't less than that.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members.
It should be physically impossible that this could happen, especially with a non-citizen.
The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody.
I wonder what this guy's story is, because he has like kind of a really big upper lip. I think he used to have a mustache. And like there's some kind of hole here on his ear, and it kind of looks like his ear is kind of forming into the side of his head. It's kind of weird.
This time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene. to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital.
Yeah, by now, like, the suspect had already been transported. They should have known he wasn't American.
Madam Mayor?
They should have known it was a terrorist attack by now.
I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I, too, want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the guardsmen and to the guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am joined by members and leadership from the D.C. National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Pia, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark, and we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief.
Sure. So no, at this time there was no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor,
I thought he was stabbed. I don't know.
does this validate the need for the national...
Don't give me that. Get this off my screen now.
Okay. Gun to your head.
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Mayor, can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether
they're dead
or not anyone else was injured? And a quick question follow-up for the FBI Director. You said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody and there are no other suspects?
Sure, so I can start out. Again, Chief Carroll from MPD. So both of the individuals, the guard members, they are in critical condition in a local hospital at this time being treated. At this point, we have no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
Have you got any sense of motive?
No, at this time, obviously, we're very...
Motive is that he's a terrorist.
In the preliminary stages of investigation, there's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive.
Were the National Guardsmen armed, sir?
The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed.
Probably with those same guns that I was showing you earlier that just shoot smoke.
Off shots?
At this time, that's part of the preliminary investigation.
Can you explain how the suspect was apprehended?
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the...
I don't know what that was. Like...
Explain how the suspect was apprehended.
How the suspect was apprehended. He looks at her.
Sure. So...
Chief points over her other shoulder. I don't know what that is.
How the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
And he was shot by a National Guardsman?
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot that individual. It's not clear at this time.
Chief, do you know what kind of weapon was used?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area, and obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniform Division Secret Service were in the immediate area as well.
What kind of weapon the alleged perpetrator used?
We do not know at this time. It's still in
How many shots were fired?
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Has been able to question the suspect, or is his condition so severe that you haven't been able to have a conversation?
Sure. Again, so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking to all aspects of who the individual is, his connections at this
He's an Afghanistani migrant. Like,
time. He's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like, hang on. I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard who responded due to their extensive training to secure American lives today. There was not any further injury and any further shootings. We should highlight the fact that the men and women of law enforcement, the interagency, the Department of War, and the National Guard executed their training with great precision today and prevented an even greater tragedy from befalling us. These National Guardsmen are heroes, and we must pray for their safety and their speedy recovery. And as the chief said, we are in the preliminary stages of this investigation. We will run down every single lead, every piece of evidence. This is the power of the U.S. government at its best at the state, local, and federal level. That is why this interagency group is standing behind us to assure America and the world that we will continue to keep D.C. safe. And thankfully, we have Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guardsmen, and federal agents, and the Department of Justice and Attorney General willing to prosecute the mission to keep Americans safe. And President Trump has rightly stated that this heinous act will be investigated, and
he refuses to call it a terrorist attack, though. This guy is clearly a terrorist. I don't care. And you get these people who say, too soon to determine much of anything, there will be plenty of spin from all corners. Well, in that case, it's Antifa, and 3-2, it wasn't Antifa. It was a illegal immigrant, and the Antifa people are cheering it on. This guy's literally laughing. This guy's like, he got the legal asylum by the Trump administration this year, so what's your point? Obviously, it's your fault. Of course, exactly. Big exclamation points. Yep, of course they will. It's all their fault. Sure, you're an idiot because you believe he was an Arab. It's constant spend from these guys. And this guy, 25-year-old autism spectrum disorder, vote blue, pedo Trump, no Democrats under 50K. From Minneapolis. Look at this guy. Somali. Bet. Erica Kirk, you have no idea what you just unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. Damn straight. And they should continue to echo even now. This guy thinks he really cooked with this one, you know? But it's time. And the American people need to fight. I think this is a call for a civil war. Period. We need to start giving the ICE people real guns. Guns that kill. And anytime anyone gets in the way of an ICE officer, they shoot. Period. This is Civil War time. There's no more excuses. Nothing left for me to care about. You killed Charlie Kirk. You tried to kill Donald Trump. You're killing the officers of the law. You're slashing their tires. You're ending their lives. There's no longer any common ground. And I have coworkers at my job who I'm going to have to talk about with this, and they're going to say that I'm a fascist, I'm a Nazi, because I believe that this is a horrible act, and that now we have to actually fight back. Anyway, I hope you guys pray for these people. I hope you guys pray for the downfall of the evil that has grown within America. And I hope, despite everything, that you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving. Have a good day, all of you. God bless.